Star-shaped Shuriken, aka throwing stars, aka ninja stars, are prohibited in Canada, Australia, the UK, and several other European countries. The down-under version is a star knife. Strange way to label them, but okay. They're also prohibited in the US states of California, Delaware, Illinois, Kansas, and New York. Maryland allows people to carry them openly, but not concealed. Well, I suppose exposed ninjas stripped of their stealth are much less dangerous. Throwing stars were also banned in Indiana since 1985, but the ban was lifted in July 2023 to allow for recreational use. That should happen everywhere in my opinion. UK law, overly dramatic as usual, refers to them as Death Stars. Ironic considering that they're less deadly than regular throwing knives and axes. Tests have shown them to be not really all that impressive outside of a few lucky hits. You know what's also ironic? They're functionally very similar to a tool that's legal and readily available everywhere. Circular saw blades. Whoa. I can't really see anything. That was definitely head on, pun intended. It's not really doing all that much, just like Shuriken. I glanced. I mean, it would hurt, no doubt about it. I wouldn't want to get one of these in the face.
No.
Bit low. That was a solid hit for sure.
Yeah, it was.
It just needs to be thrown with more power. Oh!
There we go.
There we go! That's what I wanted. Yikes. Okay then. Doesn't penetrate very far, but ouch. It really only goes a little bit further than the teeth. The same on Shuriken, depending on how they're shaped. They can't really penetrate any further than the length of each individual spike, which is not all that good, but of course it would be very painful. I hit it pretty hard there. I feel like it's just the fact that the front of the skull is so much sturdier, you know? Just because it's not sticking doesn't mean it's not doing damage. I wish I had proper slow-mo footage, but the GoPro betrayed me. Why is this piece of shit off? It's not going back on. Oh, come on, man. This is ridiculous. This is really dumb. Sometimes it helps to take out the battery and put it back in. Great. So no slow-mo footage then. Sorry guys. And I double-checked. I know the camera was at 97% before we left. So throwing isn't great. How about this though? Ooh. Yeah, that definitely, it's all crunchy. I don't think it went all the way into the cranial cavity. How much bone was shattered there? The top of the head is very robust. You know, it's the body's natural armor, basically. Oh. Well, there we go.
Oh.
That did a number on it. He has a blood mustache now. 'Tis the fashion, a blood stash. And some people were like, this is still very effective, is it? I mean, not as effective as an axe, I'll give you that. Like, an axe does more damage, clearly, but an improvised tool like this, well, it's still steel that you're hitting with at the end of a lever. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Let me get the crunchiness. Like this is all mush now. The bones here are completely shattered. You can see the bits falling out. Funnily enough too, this is a half that I repaired, belonged to an axe that broke. So I just glued it back together with wood glue and then secured it somewhere with Gorilla tape to make sure it doesn't split open. I think that'll do it. We have a full horror movie effect now. This is what you would call a buzzkill. I'm gonna give some lawmaker somewhere the idea that saw blades need to be band now. Circular saw blades are weapons of mass destruction. I could completely pull them apart. My experience as a professional geek leads me to the insightful observation that this is a big oof right there.
That was faster than some of the swords.
Right? It was. Basically, it's just a matter of how you look at it. If you look at it as an axe, then yeah, it's not as effective. But if you look at it as some sort of steel-reinforced war club, then yeah. I'm not going to disassemble this post-apocalyptic abomination, because even though it's perfectly legal to make and own, it would be tragic if anyone felt threatened by such a vicious implement of destruction. We can't have that now, can we? Isn't it much nicer to pretend that banning certain object means that definitely nobody's going to get a hold of them? Aren't we truly indebted to our benevolent lawmakers who took it upon themselves to keep us safe from throwing stars, such horrible threats? You know, we never know what sort of epidemic ninja violence might be upon us, if not for them. Makes you really appreciate the wisdom and foresight that goes into such laws, doesn't it? Now, all sarcasm aside, obviously, this object is legal, that's legal. If you combine them, still legal, and this is legal too. I just have a feeling that if you were to defend yourself against a violent home invasion, this would probably look better in court than that. I'm not a lawyer, and this is obviously not supposed to even resemble legal advice, but I do think this would look better, because a sword can have a number of functions or values, you know, it can be symbolic, it's a collector's item, etc. Whereas if you put together a saw blade axe like that, you're deliberately making a weapon. But either way, it goes to show just how pointless these bans are, particularly also when you consider that a throwing star is typically much less effective than throwing knives or throwing axes, which are all perfectly 100% legal typically in the places where they're banned, definitely in Canada, but in many other places too. Sure, these require a bit more skill, but the amount of penetration you can possibly get with a throwing knife like this compared to a throwing star is considerable. And of course, this is also going to hit a lot harder. So, seems silly to me. Not to mention the fun fact that while throwing stars, balisongs, and nunchucks are off limits, I can legally own this, and this, and that. And then we have a $3 garden tool from Dollarama. This didn't do much by itself, but it highlights some previous blunt impact damage. The bone analog completely split there just from the shock of the impact to the front. Okay, the skull wins. Some indentations there. It's not holes that go all the way through. It still works, kind of. And I'm bending them straight again, sort of. Okay, this is not awfully effective. No. All right, not this. I mean, his skull doesn't look too good, but nothing went all the way through, interestingly. I think a fox is going to do a little bit better. A little bit better. Cut this right open. It went all the way through the skull here. He was already completely disconnected everywhere. This is disgusting at this point.
Yeah.
Yep, I think we're done. Hope you found this entertaining. Thanks for watching, and take care. Watch out for ninjas.